Hi, everybody. Welcome along to this edition of SportsView on Monday, the 27th of November. And we're on air at just past 8 o'clock Greenwich GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Good evening, Derwynne Honan, and welcome.
Hey Pat, how are you?
I'm very well. We're waiting for our other man to come in. He'll come in soon, hopefully. But we'll be looking at soccer, rugby, boxing, golf, Formula One, tennis. I don't know if we'll get to all of that to be good. But the two main soccer stories tonight, Derwin, you have to agree, has to be Luton Town and El Tel.
I'd agree, and I think there's no particular order either, Pat.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. But as people know, I'm a big supporter of Luton Town, and I watched the match Saturday, and it was very exciting, very exciting. I didn't think they'd manage to hold on, but they did. They have a few nice boys. Did you see what did you see any of it, Derwin?
No, I didn't see it, but I listened to the last 15 minutes on the radio.
Yeah.
Five Live went to it live
Yes.
for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy doing the commentary was hilarious because he was literally like, "Luton, I think Luton are going to do it. I think they're going to do it." Then the whistle went, and he was like, "They've done it. It's over. They've won."
Well, we were just saying before the program came on, we were saying if they manage to stay up and to spend another year or two in the Premiership, it will have a huge effect on the club. There's no doubt about it,
Yeah, it's bound to, isn't it? I mean, they get quite a lot of money for staying up, don't they?
They would, yeah, they would. But anyway, in the Premiership over the weekend, there was wins for Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Brighton, Bournemouth, and Arsenal. And I think Arsenal are top. They are top of the league. Arsenal.
You
Arsenal
forgot about the mighty United as well. You know.
a Man United won as well. Yeah, I forgot about them. But they're 2-4. They're in sixth place. You know, when you think about it, they're only 6 points behind Arsenal, which is 2 games. So I mean, despite the fact that they're not playing well, and they're still not playing well, in my opinion. This is in my opinion. They still won the match. But Arsenal have 30 points, Man City have 29, Liverpool 28, Villa 28, Spurs 26, and Man U 24. To my opinion, one of the most impressive teams in the last few weeks have been Liverpool. They look very settled. They look very confident, and they're playing well. They're playing well, Darwin. You know.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the only thing I'd say is hopefully Man City are going to lose about 20 points, aren't they? Like Everton, because of the
I think Man City have been in trouble the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they haven't suffered. But the fact that
they've got 121 points against them in this fair play thing, right? And Everton, I think, had 12. And Everton have been deducted points, yet Man City have been going on for years, still being investigated.
I think there's a case to be made. I mean, they can be relegated to the Championship, Man City, as well as one of the,
It's outrageous when you look at it. I mean, it's just wrong, isn't it? But it's all about money again, isn't it?
It's plain wrong. There's no doubt about it, and we're not against any one club, but if there are rules, and there are rules, and all the clubs are supposed to abide by the rules, I mean, if a thing is wrong, it's wrong. And I mean, Man City went to the Court of Arbitration, as we know, a couple of years ago. Derwin, you remember that? Because they were facing possible relegation at that time as well. And really, when you contrast that, not because I'm a supporter of Luton Town and Everton, they're all expected it's the same rules for everybody, no matter how big or small you are. But as we see it in the games itself, some decisions do go against the smaller clubs, and that's unfair as well in the game of soccer, But
I don't understand how the Premier League can still be investigating Man City, yet they can make such a quick decision with Everton. I mean, I just think it's wrong. I mean, to me, it's just not fair. There is no level playing field.
Absolutely,
they've got 120 odd different rules broken. Man City, 120. I think it's 125 or something rules that they've broken. Yeah, I think Everton had done 12.
Why do you think that the FA is so weak that they're not taking any action against Man City?
Because they're petrified about getting sued. You can see it. They're petrified. You think about it. All Man City have done is just made it a legal case. Our pockets are deeper than the Premier League, and they'll just keep throwing it back into solicitors. Whereas Everton, I mean, let's face it, they haven't got the clout that Man City have got monetary-wise, have they?
Absolutely, yeah. SportsView is the program on lairmedia.tv. Press the red button on the right-hand side to keep it to subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate it indeed. Now we're live on here, and I'm trying to communicate with a person who's on the show yet, as well as speak to a person who is on the show. So,
Killing two. I'll just start rabbiting on.
If that doesn't confuse you,
what about the goal of the season? What about the goal of the season?
Well, I mean, that's what they're paid for, to score goals, the strikers. But Garnacho's goal was excellent.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Well, some people put it down to a fluke. It could have gone anywhere, would they?
Yeah, I think you could probably have another 100 goes at it and not get it in the goal, yeah.
Yeah,
but you only need one go to get it right, don't you?
It was a smashing goal, an absolute smashing goal. And, you know, despite the fact that they're a very disjointed team, we often spoke about Man United, you know, there doesn't seem to be any, you cannot say, you know, with any certainty that they're playing as a team from 1 to 11, so to speak. But yet, they're only 2 games off the top spot, you know, Man United I'm talking about. So,
well, they're second. They're second in clean sheets. I think they're second to. I think they're second to Arsenal for clean sheets. I mean, it's fascinating, really, when you look at some of the stats. They've just shown them on Sky now before the Fulham Wolves game.
Wolves and Fulham are playing tonight in the Premiership as we're on air. That's the live game, the Monday night game. And you said, Derwynne, already that
Fulham scored after 7 minutes.
That Fulham are winning.
Yeah, 1-0 up after 7 minutes. The striker knocked it through the goalkeeper's legs, nutmegged him.
And there you go now. And as I said, El Tel passed away over the weekend, and that's Terry Venables. El Tel, I'm speaking about El Tel because he was described affectionately when he went over to manage Barcelona. Yeah. For all of you who remember that era in soccer, Terry Venables, he played at every age level for England. The only player so far to do it, schoolboys, under youths and under 21s and all of that, up to season level. So, and he managed England as well, as we know. But he went to Barcelona, and he brought. Did he bring Gary Lineker with him to Barcelona?
I think he did, didn't he?
He brought Gary Lineker to Barcelona, and someone else, I forget. They're off. I'll think of him in a minute. But anyway, Barcelona hadn't won La Liga since 1971. But Venables won the league with Barcelona. No mean feat that time, you know. No mean feat indeed. And he built his strategy team around the defence. They had fantastic defenders at the time. And he took Barcelona to the European Cup final as well.
Yeah, I mean, every old player has just raved about how good he was.
Yeah, and they were beaten in the final by Steaua Bucharest. In that European Cup final, but we must remember, if you look back at the team sheets, Steaua Bucharest had some fabulous players in that team as well, you know. But he won the Copa del Rey as well with Barcelona, so he had a fantastic career.
I guess Bucharest would have had Stoichkov, wouldn't they, playing?
Yeah, I didn't look at the lineup now for that team, and I didn't have time to look it up, but. And I was just, people called to my house this morning. My friend, I didn't expect them, so that took 3 hours out of my day. There you go, 3 hours.
You've not been prepping up properly. What's going on?
After that, then I was chasing my tail for the whole day, But anyway, but Terry Venables was unlucky with the 1996 team that went to the semi-final of the World Cup. Wasn't it the World Cup in 96?
No, European Championships.
Seaman in goals. Southgate, Adams, and Pearce, the back three. Yeah. McMenamin, Ince, Platt, Gascoigne, and Anderton across the midfield. And then up front was Sheringham and Shearer. That was his line out for the semi-final. They drew 1-1 and they were beaten in...
It's interesting.
Go on.
You know the interesting... Do you know the interesting thing about all of that, Pat? Is that the attendances for all England games in the early 90s was dropping at Wembley. And that European Championships at Wembley put England back on the map again with attendances for I mean, it's a full house every time England play now.
It is. It is.
Yeah. And before that, they were really struggling to get past 50,000 in Wembley. And that was the old Wembley. So that was 100,000 seats, 100,000 capacity in that old stadium.
It was.
And they were struggling to get past 50,000 for an England game. Even when they played England-Italy, England-Germany, they couldn't, England-Spain games, they couldn't get more than 50,000 in because no one wanted to go and watch England.
Yeah. But Venables was a very good coach. Everybody who's spoken about him, anybody I heard speaking over the weekends about him, had nothing but praise for the man. He was an intellectual. He was an intellectual in his own right. He wrote plays. He wrote books. He wrote screenplays, and so I mean, he wasn't a one-trick pony. He had a lot of. Didn't he have a few nightclubs and stuff? Did he?
Yeah, he had a nightclub in Kensington called Scribes. I remember going one night, and all he did was it literally was sing all night long.
Go here.
Yeah, he must have sung 12, 14 songs.
He was a good singer, so was he?
Yeah, he was. When you think about it, I mean, he fancied himself as a bit of a Frank Sinatra or a Dean Martin, or he was that kind of crooner.
Go here.
Yeah. But he wouldn't stop singing.
I wouldn't have
that was before karaoke and all this other stuff.
Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah, he's kind of a character.
He was. Yeah, he was one of the good ones. And I think our other friends are having difficulty coming in. I don't know why. I'm afraid I can't do anything from my seat here for them. I'm not at their side of the computer. But that was yesterday, Goreva Onham. El Tel, another one gone into the sky. Terry Venables, he played 2 or 3 games for St. Patrick's Athletic in Dublin. You know that?
Really?
He did in the 1970s, yeah. So there you go now. There's a funny story about him arriving over. And not everybody was in the picture. This was a deal that was quickly done. And a phone call came in to the St. Patrick's Athletic head office, right, in Dublin.
Right.
And I don't want to impugn anyone now. I know, is it the secretary or someone? Some of the officials answered the phone. Said, "Yeah, I'm Terry Venables." He said, "I'm arriving. I need someone to pick me up." And he went, "Who? I'm Terry Venables." You must be joking. You man bang down the phone. It was a very funny story. It was told yesterday on the radio. I was listening to it, and anyway, Terry arrived up to St. Pat's. I think he must have been 30, late 30s, very late 30s then, that was Terry Venables. But right. He did. I just picked it up yesterday after thing, as we know. Anyway, SportsView is the program, and you can email us at learmedia.tv, and you can catch the program up on our YouTube channel. Press the red button to subscribe to our channel. It's free of charge, and we'd appreciate it. Now, Darwin, over the weekend we had golf as well. The Johannesburg Open was won by Dean Burmester.
Yep.
Minus 18, 68, 62, 68, and 64. Astonishing scores I
Yeah.
keep. The Andalucia Open was won by Aditi Ashok. That's the ladies, the Andalucia Open. I was watching the Golf Channel a bit of it. She won that. She's been threatening. She's knocking on the door for a while. She's one of the people who's impressing a lot in ladies golf. Aditi Ashok, very nice golfer. 69, 68, 68, and 66. So she won that. And then over in the Australian PGA, Min Mun Lee won it at minus 20. Min Mun Lee. Cameron Smith missed the cut in that, the Australian PGA. And
yeah, he was really he was upset about that too.
he was upset on a personal level. He was, yeah. And Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy's video game of golf is just supposed to be launched on the 9th of January, but they've postponed it for 12 months. We don't know why they postponed it now, but we can guess. John Ram was supposed to be the captain of one of the teams in that, coincidentally, but John Ram is closely linked with moving over to Live Golf. And as we were saying earlier before we came on air, Darwin, if John Ram, it looks like it's a done deal for John Ram to go over to Live Golf. Now, you'll have PGA tournaments during the year with very few, apart from McIlroy, there'll be very few top 10, top 15, top 20 players who are well-known household names on the PGA Tour. And I cannot understand they announced this truce and these talks with Live Golf, that's the PGA. It got miles and miles and miles of publicity a couple of months back, and it seems nothing has happened since. I don't know, because the Live Golf schedule for next year will be out soon, and they're having a tournament after Christmas for there's three golfers, there's three places in this tournament up for grabs. They're doing a relegation and promotion. Now, if there's 12 teams, there's 48 golfers, and if you're a captain of a team, you cannot be relegated. That's if you're a captain of a team, if you lose your form. So it's a safety net, I suppose, anyway. But the top three are gone, and there's three places available now up for grabs for Live Golf. So that tournament should be interesting as well. I think it will. It'll be interesting to see who will enter it. But that's I'd be interested to know.
Well, I mean, I think the Rahm thing is I don't think Rahm's been happy with the PGA Tour for a while, because there's been things.
Yeah, he's been giving out. He's been giving out a lot. Yeah,
I think Rahm as well is a little bit. He doesn't get the same opportunities as someone else does.
Well, people. Yeah, and he won the Masters, and you wouldn't think he did. Yeah. I agree with you there, Derwynne. And John Ram feels that
he gets bad draws as well, Pat. If you look at the draws through the years, for the last couple of years, he's not in 9 times out of 10. He's not in one of the marquee groups.
Yeah, that gets a lot of coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he feels a little bit hard done by that. He's a bit of a superstar, but he doesn't get treated like one on the PGA Tour.
I think there's a lot in that, Derwynne, as you say that there's a lot of that, and I think that the fact is, with Live Golf, you don't have to qualify for any tournament. You have what is it? How many tournaments have there? 14 or 16?
14, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 14 tournaments in the year. A nice short year.
I looked at some of the start sheets earlier today, just out of interest.
Yeah.
You've got Justin Thomas in some unbelievable groupings, when in fact he's hitting the ball sideways. And you've got Rahm playing in some groups where he's literally playing with Division 2 of the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
As the playing partners, and you kind of just go, how does that work? How's Justin Thomas got the prime times tee times?
And you're right.
And he's hitting it sideways, and Rahm's not getting a look in. I mean,
and
I think Rahm's pulling out.
I've watched a lot of the tournaments on the Golf Channel, and if you turn on the Golf Channel, Justin Thomas is nearly always featured.
Yeah,
to such an extent.
I looked at quite a few of the big events on the PGA Tour, and Rahm didn't really have top names alongside him.
No, and Thomas, and he wasn't in contention for any of the tournaments I was looking at. He's playing poorly.
He missed as many cuts as he made, I think.
Yeah. But
so
I think
I get Rahm's disappointment. I get why he'd want to move on as well.
Now we'll assume that Jon Rahm is going to live golf. We don't know who's going to compete for those 3 places, but you can bet your bottom dollar if you're a professional golfer out there, and you'll be thinking, if I get into live golf for the 14 tournaments, I'm guaranteed $1 million.
At worst.
Yeah, at worst, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they reckon Rahm's they reckon he's been offered like 400,000 to come across the live, but that might be just paper talk. Even if it was 200,000, it's still a lot of money.
200 million. I think that he will, and why not? I mean, he'll be able to organise. He's guaranteed his place at all the tournaments. Number 1, number 2, he'll be able to plan his year a lot better. He'd be fresher, more time off. I mean, there's more to life than money, and people who like youngish golfers who are after getting married and starting a family, all these things are taken into consideration, taken into account. But as you said, the PGA Tour has been stale for many years. There's been tournaments that were looked on as almost major, like some of the tournaments, some of the big tournaments, like the
Phoenix Opens.
Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
And those fields now, I remember, what was it? Was it Firestone had a big tournament a few years back. Do you remember the Firestone?
Yeah.
That was a massive tournament one time.
Yeah.
Where's it gone?
That was a huge event.
Firestone. Yeah. And of course you have is that still going? You have the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yeah, Bay Hill, yeah.
That was a marquee tournament on the PGA Tour. There's a lot of marquee tournaments gone by the wayside with no fanfare about them, And also
Texas Open's gone down.
It had text in Valero. I remember being playing Valero, Texas. Yeah, and that was a huge tournament. On the European Tour, then you had, I mean, the BMW was seen as another major almost one time in England,
Yeah, Volvo Masters.
The Volvo Masters. That was a massive tournament. People you'd organise your schedule around those tournaments, and it's. I think the PGA Tour is just pandering to 5 or 6 golfers.
I'd even go as far as saying 10.
10.
I think you've got 10. I think you've got the 10 Ryder Cups, 10 Ryder Cup players, and then you've got the 2 add-ons or whatever, the 2 wild picks. But I think your top 10 players on the PGA Tour are definitely being pandered to.
The problem with the talks, live golf is going to carry on anyway. It's not going away. Live golf. It's simple fact. The PGA Tour thought it would disappear, but the format, and they are getting crowds, even though the NBCs and the MSNBCs and the ABCs networks don't cover live golf, you know.
No, but if you listen to your CBS and your NBCs and your ABCs and all the rest of it networks, they all just slag it off because they can't be saying that the numbers are growing, because the sponsors will be looking to, where am I putting my money? Who's watching the most golf?
Yeah.
You know, Valero Oil Company does not sponsor the Texas Open because they don't want to expose their brand to people. I mean, that they're doing it for loads of different marketing reasons. And if they could be honest and actually say, Live are getting 25,000, 30,000 people going to watch it, then Valero would be thinking, maybe we're looking at the wrong tour. Maybe we should be looking across there.
Yes.
They're getting as many spectators as what we used to get.
Yeah.
And, I don't care what people say. That everybody's, out to get Live, and they badmouth it and run it down. When in fact, imagine Brandel Chambly being on tour now. Are you saying that he would not have gone to Live if he'd got the opportunity all day long?
Or God rest his soul, Seve.
You got to, listen to the commentators who slag it off. They were all journeymen. They weren't superstars. And I'm sure if you looked at the journeymen who've joined Live, like your Richard Blands and some of those guys, look where financially they are now.
They're set up for life. They don't have to play a golf again.
Yeah.
After
you can't
1
be
year.
telling me you can't be telling me those journeymen back in the 80s and 90s, even the early 2000s, wouldn't have moved across for the money.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt,
Yeah, it's all good being the moral high ground and saying, I wouldn't, golf's not about money. Yeah, right, of course it isn't. That's why people argue about parents' money so much.
And the one thing that they need to clear up, and I think it probably will be finalized next year, is the ranking points.
I don't think they will get that through until they actually get rid of Peter Dawson. Peter Dawson's come straight from the RNA, and he's running the world ranking because of his old position at the RNA.
Yeah.
But if they could get rid of him and get somebody in there younger, a little bit more, less establishment. I'm not even going to say traditional. I'm just going to say less establishment.
Yeah.
Then all of it will change. I mean, Moynihan for the PGA Tour is more interested in Moynihan, what he's earning out of it. You've only got to look at this whole deal that they've been trying to set up. He's going to be running it. He's getting 200 million or something as his pay for running it.
Yeah.
Well, get real a minute. I mean, hang on a sec. If you're the administrator of it, surely you get paid a great wage. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
That money should be going into the pot for the players, shouldn't it?
Exactly. And
which is what I think where he's getting his resistance from the tour players is because if you've got 200 card holders in America, that bottom 100 are scraping a living together.
True. And we hope the points could be sorted out, I don't know. They are positive enough. Of course, they have to put across a positive spin there, but I think Liv are confident enough that it should be sorted out. I think there'll be so too many. There's so many balls in the air. They'll stay there until there's a firm. But what kind of an agreement are they going to come between Liv Golf and the PGA?
Well, the PGA have got to give ground, haven't they? Let's face it. The PGA Tour won't give ground, but they've got to give ground because that's the only way that world ranking thing is ever going to be any kind of sensible part to it. Because Yeah, as long as live players are banned from playing on the European Tour and the American Tour, then they're never going to collect enough points anyway, other than the majors.
And if
now
more,
half
if
of them,
more,
three
but
quarters of them can't play in the Masters
they'd have to play.
because they've never won the Masters.
They'd have to play the qualifying.
Well, they can't. Yeah, but they can't qualify for the Masters because it's invite.
Oh, it's invitation.
And
well, they can be invited.
The top so many on the order of merit will get invited, but they're never going to get into that because they're not allowed. They're banned from the PGA Tour. Now, if you've won the Masters, that's different. You'll always play it.
Yeah,
but you know, it's. I'm still a little bit surprised with the Open that they haven't gone down similar routes, saying, you know, if you want to play, you're not a member of any recognised tour. Maybe you've got to qualify.
Well, there's another thing to bear in mind, as you said earlier on in the discussion. If more people like John Rams and the rest of them go over to Live Golf, sponsors will, no doubt, will affect huge sponsorship for the PGA. You know, you're a Fortune.
Well, I mean,
you're a Fortune 500 company, and you see 11 of the top 20 not playing in the tournament you're sponsoring. You're going to say a smaller check there, lads, or no check at all. You know, you're going to say that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's going to have a knock-on effect. There's no doubt about that.
There's no doubt about that. None whatever. Over the weekend as well, Sports Use the program on learnmedia.tv. Press the red button to subscribe to our channel, and we'd appreciate that. Now, Darren, over the weekend we had boxing over the weekend. I'm a big boxing fan. I watched Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron battle each other over 10 rounds Saturday night. They're in the Tree Arena in Dublin. Taylor did win the fight this time. She definitely did win the fight. We scored the fight, and she won 6, if not of the 7 rounds out of the 10. You know, she was really, really tuned up. As we mentioned before about Katie Taylor, she does not have a knockout punch, and any boxer who's boxing at top professional level doesn't have a knockout punch. It means you have to work twice as hard to win your fight, in my opinion. And so she did, in fairness, but she was definitely all out on her feet on the 10th round. And they're looking for a Taylor Cameron part 3 because they've won one each. I don't know will it come off or not, but I would be suggesting that Katie Taylor should retire now. She's 37 years of age, and she'll be nearer 38 if the other fight comes off. So, you know, really, it's like most boxers I've seen now through the years. They don't know when their last fight should be, as we've seen. Even Muhammad Ali, when he was fighting, I mean, that fight he took against, who was it? I forget his name now. He was champion at the time in the 80s. I mean, really, he was 41 or 42 at the time, that Muhammad Ali. And
they always go for one fight too many, don't they?
It was terrible to watch it. I was just so sad to watch that fight. Just sadness overcame me watching it because I say he knew as well. I knew he shouldn't have. Larry Holmes was a good champion. You can only fight what's in front of you, but Larry Holmes wouldn't be in the same class as Muhammad Ali in his heyday, you know. That's all, but it was terrible to watch. Larry Holmes himself then, as you know, stayed on too long and took a fight against what's his name? Oh God, my head has gone tonight. Mike Tyson.
I was going to say Tyson or Holyfield.
No, Mike Tyson. And my God, before the fight started, my young lads are watching the fight with me. I was saying, this won't go far, lads. I don't care if he's 10 feet tall. Mike Tyson will take him out, you know? Because, Larry, you don't have the same thing. You think you have. You have in your head, but not in your physical body. So I think Katie Taylor's in that bracket. I think Katie should be well advised, you know? Her mum was in the ring with her Saturday night, but it's a great occasion. But there's Paddy Donovan down here from Limerick. Paddy Donovan, the welterweight. What a class act. A class act, guys. And I think he's destined for great things. He has everything. Andy Lee is in his corner. Andy Lee, who won the World Light Middleweight Championship as well. Good man, good head in him. And he's well liked down around here. And Paddy Donovan, welterweight, I think he's superb. He's balanced. He has a knockout punch and he's fast hands. And I felt sorry for the guy who was boxing, after when he hit him 2 or 3 times, I knew by your man's face, this is all over.
Is a welterweight, is that not Eubank Jr. and Ben Jr.? Is that their weight as well?
Yeah.
So he needs to get a big fight. He needs to get a big fight with them two, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Eubank Jr. wouldn't live with Paddy Donovan, in my opinion. He's ponderous. Donovan is so fast. Anyway, that's only my opinion. And then we had the usual Formula One in Abu Dhabi. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to give you a prize for guessing who won that. The Formula One race was. Yes, you've guessed it. I've seen you all guessing it. It was Max Verstappen. 22 races down, and they've won 21 of them. Red Bull.
Yeah, I can't even watch it. It's just so bloody boring.
And Italy won the Davis Cup in tennis over the weekend. Serbia was in the semi-finals with Novak Djokovic, which was a bridge too far for Novak. He couldn't win the Davis Cup for Serbia. That's no reflection on the players who were with him on the team. But Sinner, you could say single-handedly, with respect to his teammates, won the Davis Cup for Italy. He won his singles matches and he won his doubles matches. But he was in superb form. That's Sinner, a great talent, and not much talk about him. It was only the second time in their history that they won the Davis Cup. And I think there was a huge thing one time in tennis, the Davis Cup. It lost its way a lot of the time, but I think more and more of the big players are committing to it now, and it was a fantastic atmosphere. I saw some of it on the tennis channel, and there was some good cracking tennis as well. It's different and it's good, but that was the tennis and Formula One. Rugby over the weekend. Well, I'm afraid in the United Rugby Championship, Connacht and Munster and Ulster all lost. Well, Leinster beat Munster in the local derby in its 21-16, but the scoreline doesn't look much in that. But Leinster were way ahead of Munster. In my opinion, Munster are not making progress under Roundtree. That's my opinion for what people might think of it. And they looked poor, and they were poor. Leinster were nowhere playing at their best, and they won the game easily. I saw most of that game myself, but that was that. But getting back to our soccer or our golf, how do you see it progressing, Derwynne, the golf, the whole thing with Live Golf and PGA and the European Tour? The European Tour had some. I mean, what would you consider now what we call the standout tournaments on the European Tour, apart from the British Open? That's in a class by itself. Is there any other big tournaments that people would be itching to play in?
The PGA Championships at Wentworth, that will be the flagship event.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, that will always be the flagship event, and I think that's just because of the location and the history of it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I played in the PGA. I was tournament director for 21 PGA Championships under when Volvo was sponsoring it. You kind of, it's a bit one of those iconic venues. Wentworth and the PGA go together.
Yeah.
I think the Volvo Masters is no longer an event on the tour, but you've got the Andalusia Masters, they call it, and it's not the same event. Volvo Masters was the top 60 on the Order of Merit. Andalusia is just another regular tournament at Valderrama. I think it's lost its special feeling, shall we say? And it's not the closing of the season event anymore.
Yeah. What about the Scottish Open? I think that's benefiting because of its closeness to the British Open.
Yeah, that always as a draw because they'll get some Americans come over and play in it because they want to get rid of the jet lag and everything else, play a bit of links golf and get ready for the Open. Get it? That will always be all right.
Yeah.
But again, it's, you sit there and you kind of, I don't know, you look at the European Tour and they're big. If you look at the Ryder Cup and take the big names in the Ryder Cup for Europe, they're actually plying their trade in America. They're not playing the European Tour.
No.
You've got Fleetwoods, you've got Rahms, you've got McIlroys. I mean, name that Ryder Cup team. They're not playing in Europe. They're playing in America.
They're based in America, and that new talent now who was on the Ryder Cup, Auberg, he's playing in America now.
Yeah, and they, what's happened now with the European Tour being owned by the PGA Tour of America, it's just become it's a breeding ground for players to go to America. I think if you're at the top 20 on the PGA Tour now, top 20 on the European Tour, you get your PGA card. It's something like that for America.
Go away.
Yeah.
So that's robbing the talent from Europe.
Well, I mean, it's been allowed to because the European Tour got themselves into some dire straits with, not much sponsorship coming in and, everything looking a little bit,
But who
down.
Who does it? The R&A runs the European Tour.
No, it's run by European Tour itself. It's a
company itself. Body. It's a company itself, is it?
Yeah. European Tour is its own company, and they kind of lost their way a little bit, I think. But did they lose their way, or did they had a talent drain where all the talent went to America?
Right.
If you go back to the early days and you start talking about your Sandy Lyles and your Faldos and everybody else, they weren't. It was only when they won the major, so that Sandy Lyle winning the Open kind of opened the door for America for him. He then went and won the PGA the TPC at Sawgrass. That gave him a 10-year exemption on the US Tour.
Go away.
So, yeah. In those days, it used to be a 10-year. I think it's now 5-year if you win the Players' Championship.
Lowry won a few tournaments in America. Shane Lowry.
Yeah, but the European Tour has just become a breeding ground for the US Tour.
So a young golfer who toils manfully and plays 6 qualifying rounds to get his card on the European Tour.
Yeah.
And then his next target, as you said, would be the top 20 in the order of merit.
Yeah, top 50 will be his first. Well, top 100 will be his first target. So he keeps his card. Then he'll go. If he keeps his card, his next target will be top 50. Because when he's in the top 50, he gets all the WGC events.
The World Golf events, yeah.
Yeah, his income's going to go nuts if he does half decent. Then after that, he's going to be chasing down top 20, then Ryder Cup.
So top 20 in Europe would give him a PGA card.
Yeah, to go and play in America.
And that would probably be confined to X number of events.
Yeah, he's not going to get the big events, but if you were 20th, you won't get the big event, but you'll get.
There's the other side of it as well. There's the other side of it as well. If it depends on who's sponsoring him, because you see sponsors add invites as well for a lot of the tournaments.
Well, you used to get 10 sponsors invites to most events, but all of that will. You'll have the reverse going as well. So you'll have guys who are in that bottom the outside the top 100 on the US Tour. They've got playing rights now to come and play in Europe. So they'll be going, actually, I'm playing terrible on the US Tour. Maybe I should go and ply my trade in Europe for a few weeks and earn some money.
And we know that the DP World Tour, the DP European Tour, play some tournaments in the Far East and even in Australia.
Yep. had South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. Yeah,
everywhere. I mean, I think they even go into. No, it's US tour go into Mexico, don't they?
they do.
But yeah, there's events in Africa. There's events in South Africa. There's events in Europe, obviously.
Australia,
Asia, Australia, New Zealand.
It's.
I mean, it's a Europe, the European tour, but they've been playing a bit of a world tour all the time. But then the PGA Tour in America have seen the opportunity to step in, and they're picking up events now. So they'll be picking up some of the bigger events.
Yeah.
So it gives their players more choice to play as well.
So are we in for another challenging year next year? I know it's a bit early to be talking about it. Well, it's nearly over, another month. But in next year, in golfing terms, that this situation with Live Golf at the PGA Tour, should it be? Do you think it'll be resolved next year, Derwynne? What's your gut feeling on it?
No, it won't be resolved. That's my gut feeling. It won't be resolved because I think as long as you've still got Moynihan and Norman kind of ruling, there's not much love lost between them two, and I think there'll always be barriers put up. But the Live Tour are doing nothing more than what the PGA Tour and what every other tour on the world does. I mean, that's try and protect their events.
Exactly.
They're not doing anything different.
That's a good note to finish on this edition of SportsView with Derwynne Honan and myself on this Monday, the 27th of November. And press the red button and look out for our programs. They're all up on YouTube channel. Derwynne, it's been a blast again on Monday night. And thank you for your time. And
no worries, Pat.
We'll be back again next Monday, Lekun of Day, and for another edition of SportsView. But from this edition now of SportsView, where is it gone? Until we meet again next Monday, take care and God bless.